Hello, beautiful listeners and viewers. I'm Victoria Johnson. I'm the host of the Heal Your Life Talk radio show. It's a great place to hang out. We have real conversations with real people about real transformation. We love making a difference in the world and interviewing people who are doing the same. And my guest today is Helen Dugdale, and she is the author of Put Insomnia to Sleep. She is joining us today from Sydney, Australia. And she is going to share with us how to retrain your brain to overcome anxiety as well as to improve your sleep. And let me just say, yes, please. So, welcome to the show, Helen. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me, Victoria. I'm excited to be here and be part of your podcast team. You have some great speakers on, I've noticed. Really interesting topics.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Well, you're a pretty interesting person yourself. I was reading through your bio, and one of the things that really jumped out at me, well, of course, the graduate diploma of psychology from the University of New England, and there's so many things here, but completing the London Marathon. Wow, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yes, yeah, it was all about, the old saying, one foot in front of the other and never giving up, that you can do it. It was a sense of achievement, and to hear people cheering you on, it was a real buzz. It was
Oh,
a great
that's
experience.
wonderful.
Mm.
That is just an absolute show of strength and stamina and persistence, tenacity, all of those great things. So good for you. Good for you and everything that you're doing for making the world a better place. And let's just dive in, okay? So put insomnia to sleep. You're really onto something here because anxiety and insomnia, they seem to be two very common hurdles in life today.
Yes, yes. Well, with my research, it says that 40% of Western societies, that's nearly half the population of in Western countries, have problems sleeping. And I'm thinking, why is that so? Why is it so prominent when there's so much information out there about giving advice for sleep? Why are people still having trouble? And I was thinking, because my clients, I've been able to help them with their sleep. Why doesn't everyone know about it? So that's when I thought I should write a book with my thoughts and my research and case studies so it can help people get better sleep, because some people think they have to put up with it.
Mhm.
Night after night after night of not sleeping properly. But you don't have to put up with it. There is a way, there is hope that you can improve your sleep.
Okay, can you take us down that road a little bit? Like, what is step one?
First of all, identify the issue, sort out all the physical things first. Is it your environment you're sleeping in? Is it too light, too bright, too noisy, too hot, too cold, too uncomfortable? Sort out all those sorts of things first. Or is it something physical within your body? Is it your physiology? Are you waking up to go to the toilet 5 times a night? Or do you have aches and pains? So sort all them out first. Now, if it means going to the doctor, go to the doctor and sort it out. Because I've had clients who've had a sore back or a sore knee or going to the toilet a lot. So we sort that out and then reset their sleep pattern. Because if you don't get on top of all those environmental or physical things, your brain gets into the habit of waking up or not being able to go to sleep. So even once you've sorted out your physical things, your brain's got into the habit now. So
Hmm.
it's really important to get all those sorts of things sorted first. And then if you're still having trouble sleeping, it's usually an emotional issue, like guilt or a sense of responsibility or worrying about everything under the sun. Worrying about something that happened 20 years ago or worrying about what's going to happen in a few months' time. I think some of your listeners might be able to relate to this. I know a lot of people, they say they wake up in the middle of the night and can't switch off. They're just thinking of 1,000 different things or ruminating and they know they shouldn't be doing it, but why are they still doing it? And
So
and they know it. Pardon?
is that a symptom of anxiety?
Yes, usually it is. And we have to find out, well, why are they like that in the first place? And then resolve that issue so that they they've got no reason to stay awake. They're tired, they're comfortable, they've sorted their environment, everything is right. Now, they need to get their brain into a relaxed state. So, I know people who say, I have to sleep, I have to sleep, I have to sleep. And they're building up the cortisol. So if your cortisol is racing around in your body, that's the stress hormone, there's no way you're going to get to sleep. So instead of concentrating on sleep, just concentrate on being in a relaxed state, and after a while, sleep will come. It might take a few nights, but it will come. You're stopping that pattern of staying awake and stressing and ruminating.
That is such a good point. And I can give an example from my life that runs a little bit parallel with yours. Pardon the pun here, in that it was the night before a marathon. And I got one of those bad news phone calls right at bedtime. And you have to be up at 4.
Mm,
And I remembered someone saying what you had just said, that it is important to, even if you're not sleeping, to stay calm. So I
mm.
just kept telling myself, I'm just resting. Resting's as good as sleeping. And I kept my eyes closed. I'm just resting. Like my body loves it when I rest, and just tried to stay super calm. And I was fine the next day. I did great. Um, but I also have had those times when I have been the person who's just absolutely losing their mind because they can't sleep.
And that would be terrible, especially if it's night after night for months on end. I've had clients who have been like that for 30 years, maybe getting 2 or 3 nights of sleep, hours of sleep, 2 or 3 hours a night, I mean. And I'm thinking, how do they get through the day? It must be terrible. And then it affects everything else in your life. It could affect your mood. It'll affect your food choices. It'll affect how much exercise you do because you're too tired. It might affect your productivity, even your safety if you're making mistakes. So it's really important, and it also affects your metabolism, your immune responses. It can reduce your resistance to infections. So I think it's more important than diet and exercise. They're the tripod of good health: diet, exercise, and sleep.
I would agree with you there. I know that, tell us how diet and exercise fits in.
Um, well, they say that all the research says that these ultra processed foods are not good for your body. Sugar is not good, and I go with the 80-20 rule. You don't want to deprive yourself of all the fun things in life. So as long as you're sticking to a healthy um, diet 80% of the time. And then with exercise, you've got to keep moving. Got to keep moving so that you don't seize up, and it's good for your system, good for your blood flow, oxygen levels. You really need to keep moving.
How do you feel about evening exercise when people are struggling with sleep?
Um, Gentle exercise is good. Um, Tough, heavy exercise where you're raising a sweat and getting yourself all worked up, that's going to take you a long time to calm down and get your body back into the restful state. So I would recommend gentle exercise in the evening. If you're going to exercise, the mornings are best, or after early afternoon.
Okay, now this is all really great advice, and I'm so thankful that you're sharing it with all of us listening. I want to go back to something you mentioned a couple of minutes ago about habits. So we get into these habits. We get in these habits of being awake and stressed out in the middle of the night. We get in the habit of running on only a few hours sleep. What about the habit of claiming that you can't sleep. I know a couple of people like this, people that I've talked to over the years. Oh, I don't sleep. It's just not what I do. Like, I just don't sleep. I get like 2 hours a night and that's it. And that's just the way it is. It's always been that way. It's probably never going to change. How much does that attitude have to do with any of it?
Yes, well, that's embedding the habit of not sleeping, because the more you tell yourself something, the more likely it's going to happen. So there is a very, very small percentage of people who can get by on less hours of sleep without it affecting their body. That is a very, very small percentage. I would say that most people, um, if they're running on limited hours of sleep, something's going to give eventually. Some system in their body will break down. They might start getting sick, or they might have gut issues, digestive issues, or it could affect their mood. Or if they're so tired, they'll start making poor choices like, oh, I'm too tired to exercise, or I'm too tired to prepare a healthy meal. I'll just grab an energy bar or an energy drink, or I'll just have this alcohol. So eventually something will go wrong.
Yes, I agree with that too. Um, let's just, before we shift here and start talking about how to fix it, can you talk about the effects of alcohol on sleep? Because I think a lot of people believe, oh, I'll have a nightcap. It'll help me sleep.
Yes. Well, I'm not saying to people give up alcohol completely, because it's quite nice having a drink or two and socializing. I would say have it early in the evening so it's already digested by the time you go to bed. So I
Hmm.
know a lot of people say, oh, but I need the alcohol to put me to sleep, to help me sleep. It might get them to sleep, but it won't help them stay asleep because
Right.
alcohol dehydrates your brain. And that's when you get headaches because your brain's dehydrated. So, and also it could make you want to go to the toilet in the middle of the night. So if you're waking up to go to the toilet, then you're awake. And then it's hard to get back to sleep anyway. So alcohol will dehydrate your brain, the membranes of your brain, and it will make you want to go to the toilet and give you a headache. So I would recommend if you're having alcohol, have it earlier in the evening. So you're not depriving yourself of all the fun in life, but have it earlier so it's digested before you put your head down.
Okay. Good advice. I promised that we were going to switch over to how to improve all of this, but I do have one more question about not sleeping. And that is, what are your feelings about screen time?
Ah, yes. Well, it's we love our screens, don't we? And they're useful. However, all the research says put them down 1 hour before you want to go to sleep because that screen, whatever you're reading or looking at, and the actual light is going to stimulate your brain. It's going to keep you activated, but you want to be calming down. Your circadian rhythm is slowing down in the evening, so the screens are only going to activate that. So
Yes, yes,
if you're using
yes.
screens, a TV is okay because that's across the other side of the room. It's screens that are up close that's going to activate your brain. Or of
That
course,
makes perfect sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
perfect sense.
but
Oh,
some people are addicted. They can't put their screen down. They have to know what's going on, or they have to send that last minute email. Do it
well,
an hour before you want to go to sleep.
and I think it's used to combat anxiousness as well. It's like, oh, well, if I can't turn my brain off, I'll just scroll or whatever it might be. Okay, let's turn the corner here. The book is called Put Insomnia to Sleep. You love to talk about overcoming anxiety, training your brain to overcome anxiety so that you can improve your sleep. So help us turn the corner, help us improve that sleep. Okay, what have
Well,
we got there?
actually, this is the cover of my next book,
Uh-huh.
Overcoming Anxiety. I'm halfway through writing it, so I'm actually in the middle of doing all the research about you can overcome anxiety. It is possible.
Oh, wonderful. Can you give
Yeah.
us some tips?
Oh, um, the first thing is that it's not a life sentence. Just because you've been like this for a while doesn't mean you have to put up with it forever. You can change. And what I said before, it's a habit. You are, and what Aristotle said 2,000 years ago. You are what you repeatedly do. And if we keep saying, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, well, you will be. If you keep saying, like you say to yourself before, when you have trouble sleeping, I am relaxed, I am rested, I deserve to be rested, all those sorts of things, well, you will be. But you have to keep repeating it. So I help in my sessions, I help people come up with their own mantra that what do you want to feel from now on? How do you want to be from now on? Do you want to be stressed and worried and tired? They want to be calm, relaxed, capable. Whatever they come up with, whatever suits their lifestyle, and we keep embedding that feeling. And you can see their shoulders start to drop. They're getting relaxed and they feel like a weight has been lifted and
Oh,
they know what to do, and we'll help them put in some day-to-day strategies that's going to make them feel that way.
I'm 100% on board with what you're saying here, and that the language of it really matters, that our thoughts really matter. Our thoughts are creating our future. And when we are constantly saying, I'm stressed, or my anxiety this and my anxiety that, we're naming it and claiming it, and we're certainly not releasing it. And so, steps that people can take then to reduce anxiety is change their language, change their thought patterns, adopt a mantra of, I am relaxed or everything is working out for me,
Mhm.
whatever affirmative thought that would
Yes.
be.
Yep. Mhm.
Are there any other tips you have at this point in creating your new book?
Yep. Well, at first, I'm not saying ignore the anxiety. Just acknowledge it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. Acknowledge that I am feeling this way, but I am not my anxiety. I'm having these thoughts, but they will pass. So
Yeah.
acknowledge it and then think, well, what will I do next? Will I give in to this anxiety or will I be what whatever you come up with, the opposite?
100%.
Mm. And then the deep breathing really helps. And I know it's been around for thousands of years. Everyone knows we should do more deep breathing. Some of us, in the height of the moment, forget. So we
Yeah.
get by on shallow breathing. We just get by. When you take a moment to do some deep breathing, that does a couple of things. First of all, it actually gives you some time to think, well, how do I want to feel? Am I giving into this anxiety or I want to be some other way? So when you stop and take a few minutes to deep breathe, or 30 seconds will do, um, the, it's putting oxygen into your bloodstream and that's helping you calm down. Just take a few deep breaths. And I say do the deep breathing and count at the same time. There's lots of deep breathing techniques, but I make it simple. Just 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 5, and breathe out for the count of 6. And make sure your exhale is longer than your inhale, and you're blowing out that stress. And while you're doing that, it's the physical thing that's happening. And our psychologists, lecturers at university said, while your brain is busy with the counting and the deep breathing, there's no room for all those other pesky thoughts that are happening. So when you concentrate, really lean into it, the deep breathing and the counting, repeat it for a few times, and your brain might start to wander back to those niggling thoughts. Keep coming back to the deep breathing and the counting, and you will feel much calmer. It is amazing. So, it's a good tip to get back to sleep, and it's also a good tip to reduce anxiety when you're in the height of it, or even if you know you're going into an anxious situation, do some deep breathing before you go in. And it really
Yes.
does reset your system.
It truly
Yep.
does.
Yep.
Something I say to my clients all the time, and we're both very on board with this, is that for some reason we try to make breathing complicated. And we think,
Yes.
oh, I have to set an alarm and get up 15 minutes early, and I need to watch a YouTube video, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. But just like Helen has described here, to by all means, just do breathe in for 4, hold for 5, out for 6. You can do it at the red light. You can do it wiping your counter off. You can do it folding the laundry. Like it can fit into our day several times a day to, like you said, provide oxygen
Mm.
and really work with our central nervous system to help us reduce anxiety and stress in our lives. The situation is still there, but you've shifted once you've taken a moment to have a few deep breaths. I can see myself doing this in the middle of the night because that is my thing. I wake up in the middle of the night. I can fall asleep at 9 o'clock, no problem. And I'm going to really implement this during the night, the breathing.
Mm.
Um,
Another thing that might help people is to physically ground themselves. Like you can put your hand on your heart, or um, some people tap their knees or hold a pressure point, something that's going to ground them that this is your body. And
mhm.
do that, hold a pressure point, your earlobes are a pressure point, or tap your shoulders. Um, some people do this, the butterfly tap. And one of my clients said, "Oh, it feels like I'm giving myself a hug," because they're doing it for them.
Yeah,
They're doing this and deep breathing and telling themselves something good in a calm and relaxed way.
it is an incredibly grounding and relaxing technique. Absolutely. Um, I am just so grateful that we've had this conversation because I feel like people watching and listening are going to be able to pick up so many tips on how to help themselves when they wake up during the night or if they're having trouble falling asleep. Really check in with your inner thoughts, check in with the language that you use. Um, think about what it is that you want instead of what it is that you don't want. Use that deep breathing. Check in with your doctor if you need to in terms of making sure there's nothing physical going on. Get exercise throughout the day, light exercise in the evening. Keep an eye on your nutrition. Make sure that your body is getting what it needs. Did I about sum it up there, or is there
Yes,
anything else
yep,
you'd like to add, Helen?
perfect. Great summary. So I've got all the tips and guides at the back of the book. Um,
Okay, great.
and there's also lots of research papers that I've quoted in here. Like I just didn't make a statement, make up something. If I've made a statement, I wanted to back it up with research, plus my case studies. Um, but also, I've got a one-page PDF full of the bad habits to stop doing and good habits to keep up. So if anyone would like that, it's a one-page PDF. If anyone would like me to send them.
Okay, is that on the website or?
No, they'd have to contact me and I'll send it to them.
Okay. Can they
Um,
contact you through the website? Is there?
yes, yes, yes,
Okay. It is
yes.
Australian, and I'll put this in the comments and the show notes. It is australianbraincoaching.com.au. And Helen, thank you for joining us today, all the way from near Sydney, Australia, where you
Yes.
told me it is 30 above Celsius today.
Mhm.
My
38 degrees.
38.
Mm.
Well, you enjoy that
Yeah.
and stay safe and sleep well. And thanks again
Thank
for
you.
being on the show.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you, Victoria, and I hope your listeners can get a few tips out of this.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Thank you so much.